Love it.
Okay, so we are live. Here we go. This is exciting. We're trying out a new program, and I am just going to do some adjustments here.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. So excited to have you join us today. And we are going to have a great interview. And my name is Nisha. Just wanted to introduce myself quickly. I'm a registered clinical counselor. I have a background in teaching, and I've worked in intake with the Ministry of Children and Family Development.
Awesome.
And I currently own a media company which specializes in documentaries and social media commercials. So a little bit different, but still doing the interviews in that area. And I'm your host for this series. So this is every Wednesday at 2 p.m. And I just would like to say, if you feel that somebody would benefit from this broadcast, please share the link, because we feel why we're doing this is to help as many people as we can. We just want to be supporting our communities, supporting our families.
Here we go. This is
supporting
exciting.
Children in our homes and in our lives. And I do have a disclaimer that I think is posted somewhere on here, but I don't know if I see it. So this is just kind of new for us. So I'm just going to say the disclaimer just to be on the safe side. But we just want you to know that, if you feel that at any point that you are feeling that this is just not a, this is just a session where we are here to support you. But if you feel at any time that you may not feel like you're yourself, you need help, please hang up on this call 911 and call the first responders who are here to support you and give you the support that you need. And so what I would like to also do right now is introduce this amazing person that I have on here with me today, Dr. Daniel To, who is the district principal in the Surrey School District. He is also, I'm going to put him side by side so you can see it. Yay, he's a district representative for mental health and wellness programming, and he serves on interagency and intergovernmental committees for programs dealing with students with mental health issues. Yeah. He also oversees programs for youth at risk, vulnerable to youth, students with mental health issues, and summer learning. So Dr. To, welcome so much. Thank you for being here. Sure. I feel grateful to interview you today.
I'm grateful to be asked, because I love the Stigma-Free Society, all the work that Andrea and all of you folks do to support communities. I think right now is prime time for services such as this to be able to reach out to the vast number of people who might be suffering in silence, right? They don't even have schools now to go to reach out to the teachers or counselors. So it's perfect. I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you. I'm humbled you even asked.
Oh no, I was reading up on all that you've done and how much you have helped in the community, and so it just felt like a really great fit. And I feel like what's so interesting is that you are sharing and holding knowledge in two areas of our lives that everyone is paying attention to right now, right? So that is, one is education, and the second is mental health. So I can't believe, it's everything. You've got everything in your hands right now, and also being, the district principal for the largest school district in BC, I believe, correct?
There are many of us, and a lot of us have different jobs. Like we have district principals and human resources and whatnot, but my portfolio is mental health and wellness, and risk and vulnerable youth, and summer learning. So those are the areas that I take care of. I love it so much, because I feel like I'm always I'm a missionary working for a public institution, giving that stuff to people who need it. And I love it so much. We're able to do so much for families who are at risk and are in a population where otherwise they could be invisible, right? So to be able to do that work, my staff are great. Without the teachers and support staff that I have, and counselors and whatnot to go and reach out to these families, I wouldn't be able to do the work. I'm just one guy facilitating the work for many different people.
No, that's amazing. And maybe you could tell us a bit about what you're does your role entail?
So my role, there's various facets of it, but I think the ones that speak more to what you guys are focused on in the Stigma-Free Society is basically, first and foremost, I am the principal for 24 different programs, which is basically consists of a school has 24 different programs in it for the most at-risk and vulnerable youth. Either they're suffering from mental health issues and they're hospitalized and have to come out and get schooling, or they're in hospital and need schooling, and these are called provincial resource programs, or programs for kids who have street entrenched behavior or the risk of in gang life. I run all of those different schooling programs for them, and I work in concert with people like Fraser Health and the RCMP, our own Safe Schools Department, and the child youth mental health, the different clinicians, all the intakes, the people who used to do intakes such as yourself. I work with different clinicians all over Surrey to be able to make sure we serve these families both educationally, but also with the clinical help that they might need. Even kids with behavior, we realize, and Andrea has said many times, that even negative behaviors, a lot of it stems from mental health, right? Mental health is, it's not like people often misunderstand, and this is again Andrea's message, so I'm always going to name drop her.
I love it. Yes, Andrea's amazing. She's the one that brought me on. She's the one that's connected you as well to Stigma-Free Society in the Surrey School District.
Yeah, and her message is, mental health is an up and down thing. It's like when you have a cold, right? Dr. Stan Kuchar, who is one of the foremost sort of scientists on mental health, says it's like having a cold. You don't say you either have a cold or you don't. Sometimes you get symptoms, and sometimes a cold can get worse. Sometimes a cold can get better, right? It is health. Mental health is like physical health. It's connected. And the fact that a lot of people have negative behaviors, a lot of that stems from mental health. And so we're really trying to focus in our district on programs with a trauma-informed based practice, trauma-informed practice, to be able to help kids be able to feel comfortable and feel normalized with whatever they're dealing with, and be able to give them the best education possible. So that's really the work of these different programs on a more I hate the term, but higher level scale. I also do that for the district and trying to come up with resources, Stigma-Free being one of them that we're using, resources for our mainstream principals and vice principals and counselors to be able to tap in to help kids who may not fall under the auspices of our programming, program, but are able to help kids in the mainstream, and to come up with district training, especially our focus now is trauma-informed practice, to come up with training for teachers and counselors to be able to keep up and keep current with all the different both theories and positive practices out there to help kids and families the best we can.
I love that that's the work that you're doing, because when I was a teacher, I really found that that's what I was drawn to, is like the kids that just need us, maybe a deeper way, and how do we help those kids? So when I did my counseling psychology, and then, it just felt like there are so many kids that could use our help right now, and especially with everything that's going on, even more so. So I feel that your job probably just has so much that's involved, because vulnerable kids now, there's a lot going on at home. And so it's kind of like a next level at this point, really, with how do we support families? How do we support children?
Right now is probably one of the most perilous times for vulnerable and at-risk youth, and I don't think I'm overstating that. The fact that families have lost their jobs, like how many millions of Canadians have lost their jobs, and how many hundreds of thousands of BC residents are now claiming this provincial support because they've lost their jobs. But the provincial support is probably not even, it's only a small amount of what they would normally get in their jobs. On top of that, you have all the health crisis. On top of that, you have kids at home and school. And on top of that, you may, a lot of the districts, and Surrey included, we're doing a lot of remote learning. And we are doing our best to partner with partners like TELUS and other places to get kids devices and Wi-Fi and all those good things. But at the end of the day, I'm very fortunate to have, we have more devices than people at our house. And we're very blessed, very fortunate to be able to have that. But you can imagine a family of 5, the one partner needs to do work on a computer because they're working from home. The other partner also needs to do some work from home. Well, that's 2 or 3 devices. Most families don't have 7 or 8 devices. So these people are doing their work. Well, the kids now need to go on a Zoom call for school, or they need to do Khan Academy, or they need to do What else is my kid doing? Some sort of math program or something. And how are they going to be able to do that when mom and dad also need to work on this device, right? And again, you know, you don't necessarily, like, there's so many families now you got to dial it back. Well, families who are vulnerable and at risk, they may only have one device, and we can provide another device, right? But do they have the Wi-Fi bandwidth to be able to make the video work? There's so many other things. And then on top of that, do they have enough food?
Yes.
Can they pay their rent? And there's those things layered on top of that. So right now, the struggle, I know that a lot of teenagers have this. The struggle is real, but it is real.
Struggle is real. Yes.
Real. Like there are so many different levels that we can't even begin to comprehend for at-risk and vulnerable youth. And we're not even talking about the people with no jobs, the poorest of the poor. We're talking families who are one paycheck away from living in their car, but they're fine. But they can pay their rent, and but they're one paycheck. Like something I think Union Gospel Mission said, like 40% of Canadians, or maybe it's even as high as 60, are one paycheck away from bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Right, living paycheck to paycheck. There's actually nothing wrong with that. That's how our existence is in the most expensive province in Canada.
Yeah.
But now that's layered on top of COVID and the stress of illness as well. And the lack of social communication, the lack of social face-to-face dialogue with people. And as human beings, even introverts need to see one other person.
Yes.
Right. So and it's just so complex, but
it's
also,
so complex.
But it's such a great time to reach out to these families right now, and that's what our staff has been doing. It's been fantastic.
Oh, I love to hear that people are getting support, because you know, that's what people need more than ever. And, you know, this is an interesting time, because for your work, you know, in terms of, you know, replanning education and learning technologies and communication, and how to effectively reach everyone and get information to everyone. And that includes, you know, not only students, but parents, teachers, stakeholders. How do you manage, you know, and kind of, there's a lot of people involved. How do you manage to get information to everyone? And how do you feel about, like, you know, I feel like people are really stepping up and doing a lot. What's your take on this, Dr.
Well, it all stems from leadership, and our district, and I can't speak for any other district other than my own, the one that I work in. We are working on a slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. Right. Our human power, our teachers, our support staff, our facility staff, all the different adults that run the system, and we can't care for them first.
Yes.
How are they going to care for others? It's like one of my district resource counselors, TJ Rye, he often uses this analogy, is that, you know, you want to put on, when you're on an airplane and it starts to, you know, get a little bit shaky, you put on the oxygen mask first before you put on the mask, even for your own kids. Yeah. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help the people with you, beside you, right? Likewise, if our teachers and our support staff and our facility staff and people don't feel supported, they're not going to be able to support the families we need them to support. So really, our district philosophy is heavy communication with staff. No secrets from staff. Let's tell them everything that we possibly can. And our superintendent puts out a video and does that every single week. How are we going to give them the resources and support they need to be able to do their jobs well, given the circumstances? And then after that, then it's them reaching out to the families, whether you're a high school teacher or more specifically, my teachers were reaching out to those vulnerable families. Then they reach out to those families, find out what they need, they tell us, and we support them and try and provide those things. That's the way all of our schools are running. We have over 120 schools in our district. They're all using that philosophy as sort of like, not the top down, but sort of the top side, for us to reach out to our teachers and support staff, supporting them so they can support the families and get everyone the resources they need. We do our best. Obviously, it's not always going to be perfect, but so that's sort of the philosophy that we're running with.
No, I love it. And so kind of, you know, I'm putting on my parent hat now as a mom of two kids, you know, like, where do you think we'll be, not only in the next 2 months, but maybe in September? I have Ravina is asking, you know, what types of mental health and wellness programs are available in the summertime? Is there any online programming? Could you speak to some of that?
Yeah, so again, I can only speak to our district. I can't speak for all the other districts. I do have my daughter. We're in a Burnaby school district, and when can I go to school? When can I go? Oh, you too? Yeah, we're off. When can I go back to school? And the plan seems very similar in Burnaby. It is this. It sounds like I'm parroting what's happening in the world, but really we are following the provincial health officer. We have to do that. The Ministry of Education in BC runs in case we have people not from BC, the Ministry of Education in BC runs everything with the advice from the provincial health officer at this time. So, will we be back face to face September? Probably. John Horgan's the premier said that last week, right? Here are the different phases. If we get to here by this time, there'll be partial face to face for K to 5, K to 6. There will be probably something close to full school, and for high school, it'll be as long as there's still no vaccine and no treatment, there will be some element of remote learning. It is not life as normal as we knew it, but life as we know it, the new normal. Right? And so, it's a hard question to answer because for my kid who's in grade 3, probably she'll be back at school. For my son who'll be in kindergarten, probably back at school. But if your child's in high school, I don't know what that will look like right now. With some sort of partial face-to-face, likely that's what will happen. So I know I'm giving a non-answer. I totally get that, and I'm a parent too, and I'm getting non-answer. Do I send my kid back to school? I don't even know. And
I expected that kind of an answer, and I appreciate you sharing. I definitely had to ask, but just even that you said we might be back in September, I suddenly got a little excited and nervous at the same time. I think a lot of parents are in the same boat, that we definitely would love our kids to have the opportunity to go back into schools, into those wonderful, safe places that they love, but also nervous about, are we ready? So I think, we're taking it step by step. We have to just kind of see as we go along. I think it's day by day changing.
It's sort of counterintuitive, isn't it? Like our superintendent, Jordan Tinney, Dr. Tinney, said it the best, and I'm again going to parrot it because I loved it so much. He said, in any other circumstance, school is the safe place for kids to go.
Yes.
Right? School is we are the location where kids feel the safest. They have the trusted adult. Even if their home life is the worst ever, kids want to come to school. We find statistically, even kids who don't attend class are at school. They're just wandering around the school.
In the hallways even. I know. I used to teach alternate ed. A lot of the kids just like to even just be at school. They didn't necessarily want to even learn. They didn't want to sit down in their desk and learn, but they felt good just being there and someone to talk to.
And now with COVID, the first thing we did was shut down schools for safety, but also provide space like they do with Convention Center in case emergency service workers' kids that need school. We shut down almost for that, partly for that, to provide service to the community. Well, that's so counterintuitive to what you and I as educators feel that. Even in a code red lockdown, everyone go into school. Don't leave.
Yeah, go into the schools to be safe, the safest places. And now it's
so it is counterintuitive, but I know that even the premier last week said, honestly, this next 2 weeks after the long weekend and June throughout the summer, that's a dry run for the province. So not just for education, for the province. Are the COVID numbers going to go up? Can we, as a society, really social distance and follow these rules? Well, I think in BC that we can. I think that we've shown that we are able to. And so it's really a dry run for September. If everything goes well here, doesn't matter what other provinces or other jurisdictions are doing, we will likely be able to do some form of schooling for kids come September that has an element of face-to-face. And I think that's good news for you as a parent. It's exciting.
Super interesting. And then Dr. Daniel To, I wanted to also talk to you about, how did you get connected to the Stigma-Free Society, and why were you passionate about it?
Okay, so the first time I met Andrea, and I know she's listening, so I'm going to probably...
Hey, Andrea.
I'm probably going to be wrong, but it was at Sam Sullivan's public salon, and she was speaking as Bipolar Babe.
Oh,
I think that's when I first met her. Or maybe it could have been right before then, but that's when I really understood her messaging was there. So I might have met her briefly before that, but that's where I understood the messaging. And I connected with her through Sam Sullivan, who's an MLA, but he's
Sam Sullivan's a great person.
He's a personal friend of mine. My family, it's a family friend actually. And so Andrea started learning about Stigma-Free Society. I realized that some of our schools had utilized the services, but wasn't widespread. So with my portfolio, mental health and wellness, I thought, and after going through the site, talking to Andrea quite a bit, I thought, this is a perfect, because it's, as I said about the Stigma-Free, the toolkit for COVID, right? A lot of our mental health resources are based on reactionary. It's like medicine for, again, a cold. Not a bad thing. Take your antibiotics, take the medicine, take Tylenol, whatever to treat the symptoms. What Stigma-Free Society does, and what the Stigma-Free Society's toolkit for COVID is, it's mental health resources that are preventative. That's how I read it. That it's almost like training so that you don't actually have to get the symptoms of negative mental health. It's to make you as a person more resilient, so that you can survive even the deepest and darkest crisis. And so that's why I'm interested. It's like it came, the Stigma-Free Society, the Stigma-Free resources come from the reverse approach. Both approaches are fine. Medicine is good, prevention is good, but it looks, we're really, as a district, focusing on early intervention and prevention, and Stigma-Free seems to really, the resources seem to really speak to that.
No, I really appreciate that you have, enveloped it and helped bring it into the school district. And
over 10,000 had Stigma-Free presentations. So,
pardon me?
I think Andrea's last stat was over 10,000, 8,000 students have had Stigma-Free presentations in our district. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. That's so positive for 8,000 kids to receive positive messaging about their mental health. Like, that's what we need. If we can plant those seeds at a young age and help them understand who they are and what their feelings mean and how to navigate it, that can set us up for life rather than, being challenged as adults because we never learned it as children. And do you have any encouragement or advice for other school districts maybe to get on board with supporting mental health, or involving things such as, Stigma-Free Society or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, I have not fully done, I don't dive into every school district and find out, I don't know what they're all doing. I'm sure every school district, like North Vancouver, has great alternate programs. Vancouver, of course, has a strong history of supportive mental health programs. I know that Burnaby, we have a lot of the district my kids belong to have programs. But I really encourage school districts to get on to early interventions and prevention. And Stigma-Free Society's programs do that. The reason why is, I've noticed in the time that I've done this work that by the time a kid is an alternate, you've taught alternate, it's not too late, but it's hard work building them as an alternate teacher, getting them back on track, getting them caught up in school. Wouldn't it be great if we could see some of the difficulties kids are having before they are fully immersed in negative behaviors and mental health, right? Prevention, early intervention, trying to help families before things get bad.
Definitely.
That's the key. That's the key, right? Living is much better than being really sick, and hopefully the drugs will help you.
Right. No. And even as we're talking about this, I just picture, and I'm sure you are too, that right now, in some ways we're very lucky that we get to be home together as families. But in some ways it can be very stressful for people, right? That maybe they're getting triggered their own mental health issues and then working with their children and trying to keep work going and trying to, there's just a lot of pressure. And so I just picture there's potential pressure cookers in some homes. Do you have any advice for parents right now living in these situations of what they can do to, avoid it being a pressure cooker?
Yeah, I have some advice, but I think the pressure cooker is actually even going to get a little bit worse in the sense that, so I've been at home, you've been at home.
Yeah.
Now, there's partial school back, but no one really knows what it looks like for any district in BC, right? Oh. I think that's an added stress because as parents, you're thinking, I might have to go back to work soon. I have to do these. I'm making lunches again. Yeah, as much as I don't like cleaning my house is way more dirty now than it was when kids were at school. Right? As much as I don't like cleaning every single day and making lunch every single day and hot lunch, hot breakfast, hot dinner, all day.
It's nonstop.
The reality is that now we have to start planning for a return to kind of normal life. That in itself is, I think, pressure for parents. Some advice that I would have, because I know that you have a time limit here. Some advice I might have is people need to still take on an element of self-care. Very, very difficult at this time, especially if you don't have any other supports. But there's got to be a time when the kids are asleep. Take some time early in the morning.
Yeah, wake up before everyone else.
Wake up before everyone else, and take time for self-care, a little bit of mental, mindfulness for yourself. There's lots of resources on the Stigma-Free Society's website for that. Just take time for yourself, or take time with your partner. Something for yourself, because right now parents are struggling everything's for the family, everything's for the kid, and that's a draining thing. It's a tiring thing. It's emotionally and spiritually and mentally, like physically, just draining. Like you just get tired by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? For yourself. The other thing is you have to check in with your kids. You can't just because your kids are acting out or they're bored or they're just always on a screen. You have to check in with your kids, because even the introvert kids, they're probably actually the worst off because they're worried about, oh, now I have to go back to school. This has been great.
Yeah.
Right? You got to do daily check-ins with your kids. I think if you understand how your kids feel and they feel open to speak to you about how, that will reduce the stress level in the sense that at least there's an open communication with your children. So those two things, take time for yourself and have an open dialogue with the kids.
Yeah, I love that the Stigma-Free Society toolkit has some really great conversation starters in it for like young kids or teenage kids, so that you can have those conversations, because I fully agree, Dr. Toe, that if we have to check in with the kids daily, because every day there's something new inside them that they're feeling. Maybe they've heard something on the news. Maybe they miss their friends greater than they did yesterday. Maybe they're fearful of never seeing their teachers. Whatever it is, if we can talk to them in the moment and just check in, maybe it's like every morning at breakfast or every dinner time or before you go to bed when you tuck them in, or whatever it is. I think it's setting that once a day check-in, and if they are acting out, to say like, what's going on right now, and instead of yelling and getting mad, maybe just give them a hug, because we probably need one too. There's just a lot going on.
Take that. The doctor says I get better. Say it, because going by depression out there, visiting people at a social distance that will be allowed shortly, like taking time to socialize, all of those things make extra efforts to connect with people, especially in the we're going to be in almost like a purgatory. It's first we're like totally locked down, but we're not totally free. We're sort of in this, we're not really sure what this is. We're getting to that point, and it will be a new struggle for families if we continue to social check in, spend time with one another, check in with others who might be feeling the same way, and take time for themselves. I think they're going to be much better off.
I love that. And any words, because I know, you're a district principal, and that, your work is also like for the kids. So any messaging to the kids that might be watching right now, or that maybe someone could pass on to their children, that, you have any advice or words of wisdom?
Well, I know a lot of different teachers in different districts, so I think I could speak to the kids. Something I say to my own students, that your teachers and support staff and the school district personnel do miss you.
Yeah.
Like, they miss you being part of us. Like we went into teaching, we went into education. You do this work, Nisha, because you care about kids and families. Like we're not making millions of dollars doing this, but people are doing it. They love it because they care about families. So your teachers, support staff miss you. They don't want to just see you online. They don't want to just Zoom call you. They don't want to just email you. They want to have interaction with you. We crave human interaction too. So know that your teachers and support staff are doing everything possible. It's something I end my video to parents with every single week. We're doing everything possible to keep you connected to school because we want to be connected to you.
Oh, right? I love that.
Right? And please know that, and please never think that schools are shut down because we don't want to see you. It's just safe.
That's a beautiful thing to say, because I'm sure my kids would love to hear that too, that their teachers, their school staff, that they miss them. And I just wanted to throw it out, if we have maybe a question or two before we wrap, we can go over a couple of minutes if we have any questions. And while we might be waiting for a question, I wanted to talk about your personal blog as well. Your blog I was reading it over the last couple of weeks, and it's really, I think it's beautifully written. It's very real. It talks about you, your family, your kids, your experience, your philosophies. If anyone is like looking for some kind of inspiration or uplifting feeling that's real, it's www.drdanieltoe.com, correct?
.com, .com.
Maybe tell me a bit about your blog and what inspired you to, share in that way.
I actually want to write an anti-blog, but no one Googles anti-blog, so I call it blog. But I have read a lot of blogs, and nothing. Those blogs are great, but a lot of people find blogs, I have found, very informative. And I'm not there. I'm not a specialist in lots of different things. I am a specialist in some things, but the idea is that I think people now, especially in these times, I didn't write it for these times, but I think I wrote it for struggle, people who, teachers or parents or families who were struggling with something, maybe that didn't even know what, and make it readable,
Yeah.
make me relatable.
Yeah.
Also give them just a nugget, just a small piece of encouragement or information that they may be looking for. No one wants to read my doctoral thesis in a blog. Reality. And you know,
What was it on?
yeah, well, the thing is, I write and I speak, and as you probably see here, hopefully just to engage people.
Yeah.
Because information can be passed in one reading or one conversation, but hopefully this now opens the conversation to people being able to keep on, like, with each blog or each anti-blog or each blog, gather one nugget here, one nugget here, one nugget here, and be a source of encouragement to the community. That's really all it is. I'm not trying to give them information which can change from year to year. I'm just trying to encourage them to be able to live their best life and to be able to be as honest with themselves and with their families and friends as they can be, and to be part of our greater community, to do what's best for society as well.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I fully believe in that value of live your best life and, you know, bring your best self every day. And I feel that especially now, like, this is a great opportunity for us to like practice that and put time towards that. And I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for listening today. If you found this helpful, please share. And Dr. Daniel To, thank you so much for being with us. I just wish we could talk for like 2 more hours, but I know everyone has a limited amount of screen time with the amount of things going on. So we just really appreciate your knowledge and your passion at this time. And just thank you for doing what you're doing and helping the kids and the families, because, you know, that's what matters right now, is like the human existence in a positive way. So take care, everyone. We'll see you next week, Wednesday at 2. I'll be interviewing Junie Swadron. And thanks again, Dr. Daniel To.
Everyone, care for somebody else. Have compassion, be gracious, and continue to love others. That's very important.
Beautiful wording. Thank you again, and have a wonderful, wonderful week, everyone. Bye.
See you. Have a Victoria weekend.